I love the way the First Gen Lounge makes me feel.
Because it creates a space where I belong.
Where we're able to create community.
The fact that it's a community.
It's a safe place.
It also gives me a place to understand different perspectives.
The stories of these individuals prescribe transformational perspective.
I receive encouragement, enlightenment, empowerment.
And also serve as a catalyst to just keep going.
Where we're able to be our true selves.
I'm allowed to be an unapologetic first gen.
And above all else, tell our story.
And every episode is unique.
I love it.
I'm your host, Dr. Eve, and I'd like to welcome you to the First Gen Lounge. Family, oh family, welcome back. And if you're new, welcome to you. Hey, boo. So I'm so excited about today's guest because I get to do something that I don't get to do. And I get to be like, yes, chef. Because today's guest is an incredibly talented chef who went to JWU in Charlotte. So, you know, she got to be amongst the best to do what she does. But I have Tenee Congo with us, y'all. And I am so excited for her to just share her story. I mean, not only is she a chef, she's from Delaware. And I'm like, there's Black people there. So, you know, I'm sure you get that. So there are just some things here that I'm like, I cannot wait to just dig into this. So, you know, with that in mind, Tenee, hello and welcome. Like, how are you?
Hi, everyone. I am good. I am living the dream, I guess you could say. Thank you for having me.
Say that again. You living a what?
Living a dream.
Everybody can't say that. And I love to hear that you are living a dream because you took the leap not too long ago to live that dream, right?
Yes. I moved to Houston in July. So it's been August, September, October, November, December, January, just over 7 months.
Wow.
So yeah, it is different, to say the least.
Well, congrats for that, because I know it takes a lot of courage to do something like that, to just pick it up and step out on faith, and especially when you just don't know what you're doing or you're not sure how it's going to work out. So that's really bold. But I mean, we've already started talking. Can you tell us a little bit more about who you are and more about, you know, what you do and what you plan to do?
Of course. So for everybody who doesn't know me, my name is Tenee Congo. I am at Chef Tenee on Instagram. That's Tenee. I am originally from Wilmington, Delaware, East Coast, born and raised. I moved to Charlotte, North Carolina in 2012 to pursue my dream of being a chef and to really just break the industry mold of it being a white male-dominated field, and really just try to do different things within the industry to start getting my name out there. And just a couple of months ago, I decided to move to Houston because I felt like I would be more appreciated as a Black woman chef and be taken a little bit more serious than I was in Charlotte. So now I am here now. I am just starting my new catering business. I just launched a new cookbook. And yeah, that's my journey right now.
I mean, we're not going to just ease on by the catering business and the cookbook. Let's talk about that and then being a Black woman feeling more appreciated in Houston. I want to talk about that just for a quick, second. What made you feel unappreciated where you were, and are you finding what you were looking for in Houston right now?
So I felt like in Charlotte, a lot of it, first of all, North Carolina is a red state. So
don't do us too bad now. I'm from Charlotte. Don't do us too bad. No, but you're right. Go ahead.
I loved Charlotte, but because so many people are starting to realize that it's like a mini Atlanta almost, people are starting to move there, and the price of living is going up and the wages are staying the same or going down. So I just felt like I couldn't get what I needed to get out of the city anymore. Also, a lot of the students that go to Johnson & Wales, they don't do the greatest after they graduate, and they don't really leave a good taste in people's mouths. So I would come in and be like, hey, listen, I'm here to work. I'm here to, show you guys what I really am about, because I really believe in myself and my craft. And it would be really hard to kind of get my foot in the door because of everybody before me. So I felt like I wasn't being given the opportunity and given the fair chance that a lot of others have been given.
It's interesting that you say that they weren't doing so well, though, because JW has a really great reputation. I know they put out some great folks. So what was it that even made you want to stay with the program, or even know that you had the juice to be able to go out there and do it?
I don't know. So in Charlotte, I would always have to kind of not beg, but like really, really go out of my way to make people want to hire me because of other students coming in and not showing up to work on time or not doing really what their whole job expectancy was. So I feel like in Houston, I say that I'm a chef. They already look at me like I have a little bit more, I'm a little bit more upper echelon than a lot of people. And because the Houston scene, the food scene is becoming so large, it's a little bit easier to break into, that field versus in Charlotte, it's big there. Food is already big and a lot of people kind of go with what they know.
Absolutely. I can see that. That makes a lot of sense. And, being that it's not an industry that I'm in, I'm not always aware of some of the challenges and difficulties that may be present, because people talk about like entrepreneurship, similar to what we're talking about even now, but what industry you're in really plays a role in how your business may or may not thrive. So I'm glad that you brought that up. But even thinking about, while we're talking about it, what led you to even want to take the leap and start your own thing? And like I said, even get to a cookbook, because cookbook ain't easy to put together, because I don't be knowing what I'm doing now. I just be like, how much or what? I don't know. Just tastes good. As people say, that joke, until the ancestors say stop. So it's like that.
Exactly.
And my ancestors say stop real soon, because I don't be seasoning my food. I'm special, but don't judge me.
And it's funny that you say that, because the name of my cookbook is But Is It Seasoned?
Oh, stop playing. Oh my goodness, really? No, so what led you to do that? That is so cool.
So when I graduated Johnson & Wales, I worked a whole bunch of different odd and end jobs. I worked at CPI Security, where I was a call center rep. I worked as a waitress. I worked as a hostess. I worked as a wine connoisseur. So I did a little bit of everything. And then in 2018, I applied as a joke to Johnson & Wales, where I graduated, as a traveling food demonstrator. And luckily, I got the job. I still, to this day, am so pleased with myself, because I just applied because I wanted something different. So working in that position, I traveled about 75% of the year. I traveled all over Georgia, North Carolina, a little bit of South Carolina. And I went to different high schools, and I was able to kind of talk to them about my experiences with food, my upbringing, what they should be prepared for as college. And a lot of the time I went to schools where they could barely afford books, where they didn't have kitchens, where I would have to bring in a majority of the equipment. And I also got to cook for them at the end of my presentation. And I started to see how they were so interested about simple ingredients being put together and making something that they can make at home. Because a lot of the students were like, oh, I eat oodles and noodles, or I eat Kraft mac and cheese all the time, or I eat frozen dinners. And I was like that at one point too in my childhood. So I just, showed them my most popular recipe to do was my Alfredo. And I showed them how to make Alfredo from scratch. I'm like, it takes me 20 minutes to do this, and it tastes better than anything you'll ever find in the jar. So after seeing the way they kind of just got excited about it, and Old Bay is my favorite spice ever. For anybody that's not familiar with Old Bay, get you some. It's like a Cajun style seasoning, and a lot of the students didn't know anything about it. So simple things of like adding different flavors, they were really, really excited for it. So after seeing that and knowing that, teachers don't get paid that much, I was like, well, you know what? I'm going to put together a cookbook where it's basically like a 20 for 20. So it's 20 recipes that can be made under $20. So it's like a bit friendly, but it's also where you are able to enjoy simple things. Like I have a risotto recipe that you can make for less than $20, but it tastes like it's $30, $40, $50. So you like are balling on a budget. And that's my favorite thing to kind of talk about, because that's how I feel like I grew up.
Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and get me a couple copies. And so if you're listening to this, I'm going to see if we're going to get you a copy of it too. Not everybody, it's going to be a few folks, because that's big. Especially thinking about being a first-gen college grad, coming out of school, wanting to eat well, eat good, enjoy food, but maybe having to think about what your budget looks like and being able to achieve those things and not have to, like you said, settle for just the noodles. Now, the ramen, I ain't knocking them, because, they didn't come up in all kind of ways.
Listen,
when I saw the light and realized how seasoned it was, I had to fall back, because I don't want them blood pressure problems.
Yeah.
But for what it's worth, though, hot dogs in them back in the day, beef in them back in the day. Now people to make, the ramen noodles like, what is it, pho?
Yeah.
And so throwing the egg and the shrimp. I mean, it's creativity. And I think the most classic was it the cheese, put the cheese on top and melt it. But
yes, everybody's doing
yeah.
it. I'm like, I can't. I just can't.
Really? I tried it once. Not too. I'm not a big cheese person unless it's like an Alfredo. So when you were talking about Alfredo and risotto, you was talking my love languages. That barbecue hamburgers, fried chicken. See, this is why I'm glad I got to talk to you, chef, because I told you I was going to do it. Because at the end of the day, it's just, food. You understand culture through food as well.
Right.
And I think this even goes back to some of the historic, I'm not trying to be judgmental, but Black people tend to season their food, or people of color do in general.
Yes.
And so there is sometimes that joke, and I'm Black, so I half thought it was funny, I'm just being honest, that not everybody seasons their food. So like you can tell who made the food by how it's seasoned.
Exactly. If there's raisins in it.
I can't stand you. That's not right. Them raisins will be good in that chicken salad though. And them cranberries. So that's how you know I'm different. See, now I'll be the one who you be like, did somebody? No, it was Eve. Eve did that. So hey, just give me some space, okay? I grew up eating really good, but I didn't cook a lot. And the things I did learn how to cook, it was more like, if you count tuna salad, that ain't really cooking, I know, whatever. But spaghetti, but I can fry. Baby, I can fry. Ask somebody about me.
And that's one thing a lot of Black people can do. If anything, they gonna fry.
They gonna fry. Fry it all. Fry the okra, fry the chicken, fry the corn. It's gonna be, but it'd be good though. But that is so hilarious. I'm absolutely enjoying this. So just even thinking about this entrepreneur venture being new for you as well, in terms of like you just really stepping out on the faith. What have you found to be most challenging at this point? And then what have you also found to be extremely rewarding?
I think the most challenging part is still having to work a regular 9-to-5 job, because I go in knowing that I have all of these ideas to be my own self and to be my own brand. But to keep myself afloat, you kind of got to juggle both until you really are comfortable enough to step out completely. And with my fiance also being a business owner, her business is not always on the up and up or on the down. So you can't get too comfortable sometimes. And I think that has been the most challenging of just trying to wait until I feel, okay, I can really do this by myself and not have to, put all of this effort towards someone else's dream. That is probably the most challenging part of it all. But the most rewarding is working hard and then seeing simple people oh, I got your book, here's a picture, it didn't come out the best this time, but I'm excited to keep working at it. To me, it makes up for the nights that I'm up till 2 or 3 in the morning perfecting things or writing down ideas or, sleeping 2 or 3 hours because I need to make sure things are perfect. So it's a give or take type of thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, if I can go back and do it all over again, I just wish I would have started sooner. I wish I would have had a concept of entrepreneurship sooner. And it was funny. How don't you know what an entrepreneur is? Well, I heard back then, business owner, small business owner.
Right.
But I never really considered going to establishments. And I've said this probably several shows now. I'm like, okay, Eve. But really, it's the idea that I would go into a business, but I never thought, who owns this? Who's responsible for all of this? It was more like, I'm in here for what I'm in here for. Especially you go somewhere like Target. To me, I never thought, who owns Target? Who's responsible? It's just an idea of I was a consumer. And so the flip side of it is even understanding small business, medium business, large business, corporations. It's just so much. But I only focus on education, for a very long time. So I could tell you a lot about education and higher education. It's my field, is what I loved. And I didn't really give, again, a lot of thought to all the other things and functions. And so anytime I did think about somebody being a business owner, though, I considered people who had luxury only. So people who were driving around in Mercedes-Benz, Rolls-Royce, all that. And so when somebody who may have had a Toyota Camry, no shade to Toyota Camry, because I ain't even got one. But when they would have a Toyota Camry, they're like, oh, I'm a business owner. It's like, you what? Because it wasn't what I would think because of also what I was made to believe about business owners. And then I think if I did have a concept about a business owner, it was something like a cleaning business or like a therapist or something. So beyond that, it's also funny to think about how I've evolved in my thinking. So I love that you even mentioned having a partner, your fiance who's in it too, because of that support and the mutual understanding and the conversation y'all are able to have. I'm fortunate to have a partner who is extremely supportive of everything. And, though he may not always know what the heck I'm talking about, he still listens.
Exactly.
So even just having somebody who will listen and be like, all right, well, get back on it, or this your thing, do what you do. And it's like, oh, this is so encouraging. So shout out to y'all for being both entrepreneurs, which I know he's headed in that direction as well eventually. So it's just a lot of learning and figuring it all out, but it's beautiful. Yeah, it's beautiful. And it's like, if I can do it all again. So yeah, I'm not the business owner with the Benz yet, but I'm on my way. But I don't even think I want a Benz though. I want a Cadillac. I'm old school.
Yeah,
I'm like Southern black. You said you want something simple, something like what? Like what?
I don't know. I want like an Audi or something, like something super simple. Nice blacked out tinted windows, nice interior, just simple.
Oh, you my kind of people. I like black on black on. Yes, I do dream to have a Tahoe as well, because we definitely got to have a truck. And I just want a blacked out Tahoe. And the luxury car for me is the Cadillac. But I grew up with that. I think even historically, black people in Cadillac was a thing. But my grandfather was a Chevy man, so he instilled Chevy into me. And I know that Chevy GMC is Cadillac, come from GMC. So even with that.
And it's nice too.
Yeah, people be sleeping on them. And then it's American. But I don't have anything against, foreign cars, but it's just something about the legacy. And I see a black and I'm like, ooh, but the black Tahoe, that's going to be the next beauty. But we didn't got on cars. We didn't talk about season food. I love this. Tenee, where have you been? You didn't even come through Charlotte when I was there. How dare you?
I know, that's crazy. We probably passed each other and didn't even know.
And it's all good though, because it's meant. I mean, we're here now. My best friend is in Houston as well, so I'll be out there. I'm gonna come through. Chef, may have to cater a dinner party for us or something. See, this is how this works. I love this. So yeah, so just even thinking about all the things you have said as well, because you've shared so much. What have been some of the major life lessons that you have taken from the time you left JWU to where you are now, that you just feel like it's just like, dang, this really happened? I wish somebody would have told me about this.
I feel like college in general as a whole was something that I feel like I wish I would have kind of been prepared for a little better. Not saying that I didn't do well in school, because I graduated in the top of my class. I'm pretty sure in the top 10 of my whole graduating class.
Oh, she real bad.
Yeah, like I did really good at school, but I feel like I wasn't prepared for the triumphs you have to go through, for the super good highs and the super bad lows, especially away from home. And I didn't know anybody in North Carolina when I moved there. I kind of just, stepped out on faith and hoped that it went well. So I think that not having anyone in my family that attended college before I went, because I had a cousin and she went at the same time, but she kind of dropped off the face of the earth when she left, I was kind of alone. I had questions about taxes. I had questions about refunds. I had questions about, paying for certain books and things like that I didn't really have anybody to answer those questions. So I feel like maybe that would have been the one thing taken away that I probably would have did. Even graduating early. I could have graduated a year early and saved some money on student loans, but I wasn't in the headspace to be able to even ask those questions, and there was nobody there to answer them.
I got you on that. I'm gonna tell you though, it's interesting for you to not know people and yet you keep moving. Like you keep taking this leap of faith. Like you bold out here. I did it once, and that was when I went to Mississippi, and I would say that was some of the best time of my life, but best times of my life, because I met such amazing people who have continued to be near and dear to me. And I learned so much about myself, and I met the love of my life there. And it opened me up to who I was supposed to be as a person, being in a place where you've got to figure it out totally on your own.
Exactly.
And you don't have that safety net to fall back on, and you can't drive an hour to get to the house. Like, I need help. It's kind of like, if you need help, you SOL out. You don't figure that thing out. But and I got to see the entire Deep South, which I was fascinated by because of how differently Florida is from Alabama, from Arkansas even.
Completely different.
Yeah, different worlds. And then just how the coastlines are different across the bottom, from Mississippi's coast to Alabama's. Alabama has one of the most beautiful beaches, I think, in that area for the South, right? I mean, not compared to Florida, that's what I'm saying, not compared to Florida, but Alabama, what is that? Orange Beach or something like that, I believe it is.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, beautiful. It's beautiful. And so I went down for, I think, a weekend or so. My husband and I, who was then my boyfriend, we was kicking it though. And it was just really a great experience to have. And if I had not lived down there, I would not have known about it because I would only have thought Florida or some island to get this, beauty. And we got to see dolphins. Yeah, we got to see dolphins in Alabama. Like, what? So, yeah, but I love that, you've been that risk taker. It says a lot about you. And even more so, I believe it's why you're going to be extremely successful in your business, because you're willing to step outside of the box and really have faith. And that faith is a really big part of being successful as an entrepreneur. So I'm here with it. Definitely here with it. So I guess on the flip side, what are you doing, though, to invest in yourself, personally, and continue to grow just, as a whole? Was there anything special or something that we can pick up on from you?
I don't know. I guess my one thing that I will definitely recommend, especially to the Black community, to everybody, is therapy. That is something that I feel like growing up, it was a taboo word. If somebody said they was in therapy, they must be crazy or something must be wrong. A lot of people I see are damaged, not in a bad way, but just we've dealt with things. Everybody goes through things, whether it's bullying, whether it's, having a bad breakup, friendships. We all go through things in life. And I don't think people realize how easily it can be flipped into a positive instead of walking around with this negative on your shoulder. So once I realized that therapy was an option for me and I started to go, it has changed my life completely. And I started going, I'll be 27 next weekend. Okay. I started going after I turned 25. And I've been with the same therapist. She's in North Carolina, and we just do our little Skype calls. And it has made me a better person mentally, emotionally, physically, because I'm able to have someone else to bounce an idea off of that maybe my friend wouldn't understand, or my partner wouldn't understand, or my mom wouldn't understand. So just having that little bit of a safety net to start to trust myself and my gut a little bit more, that is one thing I will never regret doing. And I think that everybody should go. Men, women, Black, white, orange, you gotta go.
Absolutely. I've been in therapy again since maybe like October-ish. And I almost wanted to fight myself that I had not gone back sooner. Yep. I'm an advocate of therapy. I've actually been in therapy for a very long time just because of different life events. Mm-hmm. But I've always believed in therapy and one's ability to be able to help a person through adverse situations. Like, I can be resilient, I can be tough, I can be strong, I can do that. But what makes a difference at the end of the day is you having the academic and the practical background and the experience to give me tools and resources to navigate some of these difficult things.
Exactly.
Trying to do it by myself never works. Or I can do it by myself, but I also don't know if I'm making progress sometimes because I don't have a way of measuring it or bringing stuff back up to like point out specific things that have been done well or not. So I'm all for the therapist, and I'm just going to go ahead, shamelessly say my therapist is one of the best that I have ever had. And I wish I would have known her sooner, but everything happens for a reason, because she just started her practice, in the midst of COVID as well. And just for what it's worth, though, I didn't even realize the value of having a Black woman therapist. Let me say that too. Yeah. Because there's something about being able to be in a meeting and be like, sis, and she gets it. Or be like, yo, they got me messed up. Yep. And for them to understand it, or to not really take you just being stressed out for depression, or you dealing with a heavy burden as a
Black female.
Yeah. So it changes the whole game. So yeah, so shout out to that. Shout out to all the therapists out there for the work that you do to continue to help us as a people heal and to find our way. And again, today, I'm glad you brought that up, because it's just, again, if it's that one thing that therapy has helped me in my personal life, it's helped me in my business, it's helping me in all my relationships. And I'm just like, what a relief and a breath of fresh air that even I'm like, all right, that's cool. I'm gonna talk to my therapist on Wednesday, and it's good. It's done. So I love that. And shout out to the therapists who were able to pivot in the midst of COVID, as well, because before, how we're doing this virtual thing now wasn't much of a possibility. Exactly. And now I don't have to leave my house. And I'm like, thank you. I gotta leave my house. So I'm with it. Well, we are at the point of the conversation that, I know we have to get to, but it makes me sad, especially when I'm having a great conversation like this one, because you the whole homie today. You the whole homie. But what I want to know from you, all things considered, if there was or is a piece of advice or some words of wisdom that you can leave us with, what would that be?
My words of advice and what I actually use for myself is my favorite Psalm. It is weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. It is Psalms 35. And I heard this when I was in middle school, and I probably was going through one of the hardest times in my life in middle school. And since then, it kind of is something where I understand, it's going to rain. It's going to be hard.
Yeah.
You're going to have to deal with some things in life that are tough because it's going to keep happening. But it's all about how you deal with it. It's all about how you get back up from it, because you're going to get knocked down, but it's all about if you get back up or if you stay down. So just keep going, regardless of what, is going on. Keep going, keep pushing, because you are leaving your legacy. Nobody else can leave your legacy but you. So if you want something for yourself and you want the people around you to be able to remember you forever, you got to keep going. So that would be my word of advice.
Yeah, that was a word, sis. That was a whole word. I felt that, and that's real. Because many times we fall down, but we get right back on up. Ain't that what the song say?
Right. Amen.
I don't know copyright infringement here. But you are, absolutely a jewel. I just, can't wait to see what happens with your life, just this new into your journey, being in Houston and being an entrepreneur and just really just evolving as a person. So again, just shout out to you for all of that. And to those of you who have listened and connected, if you check these show notes, we have her contact information so that you can just reach out directly, make a friend, hire for cater, buy that book, all that stuff. And I'm serious, we're going to get a couple of books from Evangeline Worldwide and sponsor them for some folks who want them. So we'll do a giveaway with you, collaborate, because, I'm here for it. And again, just want to thank you for your work. Thank you for showing up and being yourself, no matter what that has been like and no matter how hard it has been, because somebody needs to see you and know you. And I said, I'm for real. When we come out to Houston, we have to do a first gen collabo. And, I'm for real about this. Do a dinner party. Maybe that's the event. Maybe that's what I've been waiting on, to do something with all first gen vendors, because I'm really particular about my people. But for what it's worth, again, I just want to thank you for being here. Wish you nothing but the best of luck that all that lies ahead, and we got your back here in the lounge. So keep doing what you do,
Thank
Chef.
You.
Yeah, Chef. Yeah, Chef. Look, you're so very welcome. That's beautiful, though. That's quite the title. I hope you're on Food Network soon too. So I'm like, I know her.
Listen, I'm working on it.
Hey, I believe you'll get there. You have enough faith that you're the kind of person I'm gonna look up, and it ain't gonna be a year before you on there. Remember when? So we said it first on the First Gen Lounge. Yes.
There you go. Come on, Phil.
All right, Tenee. Well, look, take care of yourself. We'll catch you around.
Thank you, you too.